Well, hello and welcome to SLBC Radio, and this is News Hour. Well, I have here with me a consultant from Saddleback Farm, USA, and he's not a person but Kortor Kamara. Kortor Kamara, welcome to SLBC News Hour.
Welcome and thank you.
Now, we understand that you're going to conduct a conference in Freetown to look at the country's economy. What more do we know of that conference?
The conference actually is scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, January 11th at 8 a.m. and it will be at the Njala Conference Center at Lumley Beach. The purpose of the conference is addressing the role of risk management and insurance in Africa's underdevelopmental challenges. And more specifically, we want to address the low penetration rate of insurance in Sierra Leone.
Okay. So, do you think risk management will help drive the country's economy to its height?
That is correct. We are of the firm belief that risk management solutions are an integral part in a modern economy. Sierra Leone is projected to basically have growth rate of 51% next year, according to the Sierra Leone finance minister. With such a growth rate, it is anticipated that a society like ours need infrastructure to be in place to absorb that growth.
Okay.
If we don't have the infrastructure in place, it's going to be very difficult for the country to benefit actually from the growth.
Yeah, but Mr. Kortor Kamara, do you think hosting a conference like that will help bringing together bright minds, will help to shaping up the economy?
That is correct. We are bringing together people, particularly in the risk management area, to address the solutions that we feel need to be in place in this country and Africa generally for growth to be on a good trajectory. Sierra Leone, as I have indicated, has a very good potential in light of the resources that have been being exploited currently. But if we do not put in place the requisite risk management solutions, techniques, policies, it's going to be difficult for us to benefit substantially from it.
Yeah, but do you think by organizing a seminar like that and bringing together bright minds will help in that direction? Because over the years we've seen the country hosting seminars, forums, and the like, but we've not seen much.
Yeah. Well, beyond just the hosting of the seminar, we do have a projected implementation phase for what we anticipate will be incorporated here. That is why we are working very closely with the regulatory institution here, the Sierra Leone Insurance Commission, headed by its commissioner, Mr. Augustus Kanu. Mr. Kanu has been very instrumental in organizing and, of course, hosting us here in Sierra Leone to make sure that the outcomes actually of the seminar are implemented. Yes.
Okay, Mr. Kortor Kamara, a conference of that nature, is this a test case, or you've been doing that because you're a consultant from the US? Am I correct?
That's correct.
Have
yes.
you been doing that in other parts of the other parts of the world, or is it just a test case for a country like Sierra Leone?
No, this is not a test case at all. In fact, recently in June, I was in Nairobi, Kenya, where I served as a consultant insurance expert at an international insurance conference. I made presentations there and then regarding the low penetration rate of insurance and risk management, because we feel strongly that solutions, risk management solutions, quite frankly, underpin any development. If you look at any society in the Western world today, from birth to death, there are insurance products that are basically offered and provided. It's not government alone, as in most African countries. So we are trying to move, our societies away from just governmental control.
Yeah, but Mr. Kamara, again, that's going to take some time, because looking at the Western world, those are developed economies, and for a country like Sierra Leone, as poor as it is, and everything basically is being done by government. So do you have ideas to make sure that other companies come in and help government, or you want government to do it by themselves?
No, in fact, on the contrary, we want government to actually stay away, radically from some of these endeavors. Take, for example, the healthcare. The government in Sierra Leone did introduce
A free healthcare initiative.
that's correct, a free healthcare initiative, but it's actually only limited to under fives and lactating mothers and pregnant women. There's about an 80% of the population that does not cover.
Yeah, but that's just the
want-
beginning.
That's correct. That's correct. It's a laudable start. I applaud it. But we want to take, an institution like that a step further, wherein we bring in, the private sector, which is actually the insurance, health insurance
Okay.
companies can be brought in so that they can manage it rather than having government own the hospitals, pay for the doctors and the nurses, the diagnostic centers and everything.
Okay.
With private enterprise involvement, you will realize that new industries will be created. There will be an expansion actually of access to healthcare, to a whole host of the population.
Yeah.
So it is things like that we are looking at here.
Yeah, but Mr. Kortor Kamara again, it's a brilliant idea though for somebody listening to it. But one will say, how many people in Sierra Leone do understand the insurance policy? Because I will tell you here that most Sierra Leoneans do not understand the insurance policy, and most insurance policies are third-party insurance claims. So, don't you think the insurance company should do more by sensitizing the populace about the advantages and disadvantages of insurance claims and the like before organizing such a seminar?
That is correct. On my part, I am also an avid writer on insurance issues in Sierra Leone and Africa generally. So I'm very much aware of, the constraints you have just indicated. And that is one area, lack of penetration of insurance. If I may just give you a statistic. We have in Africa a 1.3% penetration rate of insurance on the continent. That is totally unacceptable. Other societies have in excess of 60%, 40%, 50%, as it may be. In America, for example, the penetration rate is at least projected at about 60%. That is very high. In the Scandinavian countries, you can go as high as, for example, 70, 80% insurances. But in Africa, generally, it's a 1.3%. And Sierra Leone, in fact, we are at a 0.5%.
Yeah, but Kortor, let me just chip in there. In that case, do you blame government or the insurance companies?
No, I blame, quite frankly, us in the industry, because I have been part of this industry myself and still continue to be part of it. We haven't done a very good job in designing policies and programs that meet the challenges of the modern African, the modern Sierra Leonean consumer. One of the articles I had written previously highlights, graphically, that we are after just the compulsory insurances in the countries that we operate in, either the auto insurance, third party, as you mentioned. We have not designed, for example, policies that the average Sierra Leonean in the rural area will meet its needs. And that's why we are talking about risks and the risk management of the management of those risks at this conference, because we want to be able to identify the risks, we need to be able to analyze the risks, and we need to be able to measure the risks and see how they could be implemented as it relates to the poor. There's like about 80% of our population, 90% of our population in Sierra Leone is poor.
Okay, but Mr. Kortor Kamara, do you know that Sierra Leoneans in general have lost confidence over insurance companies? Because it is very difficult for somebody to claim insurance here. In fact, for the whole year, you can never hear of anybody claiming insurance. So don't you think it is about time the insurance companies start talking to people and make them understand about the importance of their insurance claims? Because if you get an insurance case you go there over and over and again, but nobody will seem to listen to you until you get fed up.
Yeah, that has been a challenge. Even when I was here in the 1980s, quite frankly, that has been a challenge. But it is gratifying to note that with the introduction of the commission, the Sierra Leone Insurance Commission, they do have complaints department. So the population is encouraged in instances like you have just mentioned to lodge formal complaints, and the Sierra Leone Insurance Commission will take up those types of complaints. The industry itself, the companies, do need to do a lot more sensitization of the population. We do recognize that, and that this is a step forward. It must be interesting to know that in the whole of Africa, our president happens to be the first insurer actually to be elected the president of this of a nation. So there are a lot of expectations, and we hope to engage and move forward along those lines.
Okay. Before we leave you now, do you think insurance claim is commensurate to what they get? Because, for example, in Sierra Leone, your insurance claim, is it commensurate from to the accident or the losses you incurred?
You see, what really is important in the insurance product, and this is where the education of it also comes into place. People assume that just because they have insurance, it means it covers everything.
Okay.
It doesn't. And that's where the design of the insurance policy, the marketing of the insurance policy itself is very critical, because the agents who sell the policies to the consumers, the policyholders, need to know precisely what the risks are that these people need insuring against. And in the event, for example, you have a vehicle, you want coverage in the event of an accident for your vehicle. Your right type of policy is not going to be a third-party liability policy. If you take a third-party liability policy, it's only going to indemnify the third party's damages, not your damages. You got to understand, you are the first party, the insurance company is the second party. So that's just a liability policy. But most times people just take that bare minimum policy because that's what the law requires.
Maybe because lack of sensitization from the insurance companies, because if you go for your insurance, you talk to the insurance company, sometimes it's difficult for them to talk to you, to explain to you more about the claims, what you need to know or what you don't need to know. Maybe if they would have explained to their clients, maybe it would have been different. Don't you think so?
That is correct. That is, the onus actually lies on them. It lies on us in the industry to ensure that our products are clearly understood by our consumers, because the consumer, where I come from, the consumer is always correct. The consumer is right. The consumer is God. That is basically a mantra that we are drilled into. Okay. So the policyholders always need to be correct, and we need to indemnify them and make sure that we are actually covering their risks accordingly. Okay. And that has not been the case. I recognize it, and this dates back to the late 70s, 80s, because
up to the present day.
Up to the present day.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Mr. Kortor Kamara, for talking to the SABC.
Thank you very much, sir.
Let him do Creole quick.
Okay.
Oh, you don't do yesterday. Okay.
We decided for Kamia because the economy in Salonia and much of Africa actually is projected for increase substantially. We in Salonia, I think, say we finance minister, if it don't indicate already, say we economy is supposed to expand by about 50% over the next year or two. The country is a boom economically, and as a result of that, we feel say fundamentals them way global economy need for make it able to sustain itself, we need for bring them practices then now.
Okay, well now look better one inside this one seminar where they talk. So whose impact we go bring inside Salo economy?
The seminar go bring impact wherein people then we already did at the financial services sector, then at the insurance companies them, the banks them, and other financial institutions then within the country go able benefit from new trends where they occur in the world, and we go able give them capacity for make them undertake some of them big projects that we would anticipate that we new economy get for begin to handle.
So Uda and Uda for the inside this seminar for talk about Salo economy.
The seminar, now, as I indicated earlier, we do them in conjunction with the Sierra Leone Insurance Commission. We're headed by a very dynamic and able Commissioner Augustus Kanu. Commissioner Kanu and his staff, they don't consent for basically be co-sponsors of this seminar with me, Kamara Sadobakri, we are a consulting, reinsurance consulting firm. We're based in California, USA. We also bring together experts them both locally and internationally for make them able to make presentations them, to the participants them at this seminar. We anticipate about 100 participants at this seminar. We get for take place in Jala venue, conference center na Aberdeen.
Okay, well now some critics na the country they talk say we economy look they out if for day. Waiting that you take us you don't dey long time at the diaspora you don't come inside the country.
Well, I know say we get a lot of potential in the country. However, myself na a little bit of a skeptic in the sense that the fundamentals then where we need, for example, for design, for contract, with then global people them, for interact with them global businesses then we get for kind of this country. We need fundamentals amongst we own people them. That are one of the reasons that we there for try for capacitate them so that then get the capacity for make they able to reach out and enter agreements them on a global basis for some of them contracts that we get for Kaya.
So we now look better one inside this seminar. Who's tell me there for take place?
The seminar they take place on Wednesday. It begin around about 8 o'clock with registration. Na Jala venue, conference center na Aberdeen. We get a lineup of distinguished, speakers and guests. Them several people, including managing directors of banks and insurance companies, then go get for make presentations at this seminar. So we encourage people then when we get small or medium-sized businesses for make them also make themselves available, at the conference center. For me, able to read the new trends, then we think say this country I need for make it go before as government they embark upon new economic activities. Then.
Okay, well now finally before I left you inside the program, as you talk about new trends them for at least change the face of Salone economy. How quick you feel say this kind of a trend go work?
In the short term, quite frankly, with intensive training and capacity building within the insurance industry, particularly and the risk management sector, when they basically focus with attention right now, we believe, say, we were able to bring up the level of participation by the people then within the industry so that then we're able to undertake some of them contracts them and the fundamentals then we need for risk management now this country. Yeah.